Hi there, teachers. Happy Sunday. Welcome to day 5 in the 7 days for 7 ways to gamify your teaching series. This is a special series to celebrate Vibrant Music Teaching's first birthday. And if you haven't already signed up to get the email updates whenever I'm going live with these workshops, you're going to want to go to sign up at vibrantmusicteaching.com/birthday. vibrantmusicteaching.com/birthday. That way you'll get notified as soon as I go live and you don't have to rely on being on Facebook at the time to get the notification. We have 2 more days to go and you definitely want to jump on here as soon as you can after I go live because you get to win prizes. And you get awesome, valuable teaching information too. Today we're going to be talking about online lessons and how we might gamify those. Now, even if you're not teaching online lessons, I think you're going to get some great ideas for activities out of today because they certainly can be used face-to-face. But I've specifically designed this session to focus on activities that can be done with a time lag. Because that's the big thing that stops us with online lessons, as well as literally not being in the same room, of course. Hi Stella, great to see you here. Others, please do say hi if you're joining me live or on the replay. I'd love to see how you're going today and see who's watching. Hi to Claire, who's just joined us as well. I want to give you today's question of the day, because I know you're all waiting for it if you know how these work so far. The question of the day is, what is your experience with online lessons? And you have to answer it in this format to be in with a shot of winning one of the fabulous prizes and at the end of the week, the annual VMT membership. I say end of the week, the end of my week, which will be Tuesday in a couple of days. So you're going to want to answer in this format. VMT, then the colour of the present you want to win, and then your answer. VMT, colour of your present you want to win, and then what is your experience with online lessons. So I'll give you an example here. VMT orange, I might say, I use them for snow days because I had that experience this year. It's my first time having to have snow days in my studio. It's not a common thing here in Dublin, Ireland, but we had a whole snow week here and I did Skype lessons for almost every single lesson that week. And it was awesome. Skype/Facetime. It worked out really, really well. And next time that happens, or next time I have these Skype lessons as missed lesson alternatives as well, so next time I have one of those, I'm going to try out some of these ideas that I'm going to share with you today. Laura has answered the question. A star to Laura. She said, VMT yellow. I have both had lessons myself and taught lessons via Skype and FaceTime. Awesome! You've seen it from both sides. That's great. Excuse me, lost my screen there. Let's just see here. Nico answered as well. Nico said VMT pink. Notice how they know what the jam is. They know how to answer these questions. No experience with online lessons. No worries, Nico. Maybe you'll like to jump in after today. They can be a really fantastic thing. As I said, I use them primarily for missed lesson alternatives. And I don't do any makeup lessons, as all of you may know, but Skype lessons are one of the options I offer if a student is available at the time of the lesson, but can't make it to my studio. Why would that happen? Well, a parent's car is broken. Parent is out, but there's a babysitter, they just can't drive. Child is sick, but feels fine, is just contagious, and I don't want them in my studio. These are the kind of things where Skype lessons can be a great alternative because the student doesn't need to come to you. You can still have some interaction with them that week, and you can do it at the same time they were already scheduled at. So it's no change to your schedule, it's no inconvenience to you at all. All you have to do is set up an iPad. This has also been great, actually. She discovered them because of snow day. So I have a student who comes to me, 3 now, the whole family comes to me, and they come to me from over an hour away. It's outside Dublin, it's in another county, and because they come to me from far away, when we had the snow day and we did the Skype lesson, she said, oh my gosh, we could do this for just if I can't make it to Dublin. And I said, yeah, That's what I've been saying the whole time. But I didn't say that to her. So because of the snow day, she tried it out and it was fantastic because she realized, oh, this is something I could do again and again. And it would actually be really useful for those times when I just can't drive, at least an hour each way, because she does come a long way to see me. So those are some of the instances you might like to use Skype lessons for. I'd love to know how you use Skype or other online lessons in your studio. I'll just take one more comment there. Barbara said, VMT yellow. I haven't used online lessons, but have taken a class about it and done some research on them. Preparing. Great. You're a preparer like me, Barbara. So one more time, this is the question you have to answer today if you're just joining us to be in with a shot of winning. You're going to answer what is your experience with online lessons, even if that's none, that's totally fine. In the format VMT, colour you want to win, so it's orange, yellow and pink left, and the answer to the question. The colour is not obligatory, by the way, you just have to put the VMT at the start and you have to put an answer to the question. Those are needed to be entered into the drawing. So Alan is at the ready. This is Alan the coconut. Have you met Alan so far? This is Alan. And Alan contains all the entries from yesterday for today's prize. So I'll be announcing that at the end of today's broadcast. But in the meantime, on with the show, yeah? Let's get started with these ideas for gamifying online lessons. The first area I want to talk about is ear training. So ear training is something that might be a little bit tricky when you're talking to each other online. And like I say, there is a bit of a time delay or a lag in the video. That could seem to be a problem if you're doing ear training and that kind of work. Because, well, a student can't sing along with your piano. They can't play with you. You can't do duets. You can't do anything that happens at the same time. So that's the one negative, the one drawback of online lessons. Sure, you can try it, but even, a millisecond off is going to affect the whole thing. So it just doesn't work. So, ear training exercises you can do online. One idea for this is to do one of my favourite ear training exercises, which I tend to just call do/rate/me in my notes. So that's what I've called it today. But what this is I play do, re, mi in any key, a movable do, okay? So do, re, mi, it could be G flat, A flat, B flat, or whatever. And then I play one of those. So I'll play do, re, mi, and then say which one is this when I play the last one. And if the note is do, the student needs to sit on the floor. If it is re, they need to kneel. And if it is mi, they need to stand up. So they're answering with what they do, which is fun. Gets them up, gets a bit of wriggling, breaks in, and gets them moving. And it's just a fun way for them to answer the question. As they get used to it, I actually have them sing back the answer at the same time when they're getting good at it. But this can be done just as easily with online lessons because it is asynchronous. I ask a question and they answer. So have your student get up where you can see them and get them to sit down, kneel or stand up. And by the way, I then progress this. So when I start including so, then I have them stand with their hands in the air. And then the next one, well, sometimes I include la next, sometimes I include fa next. It depends where I'm heading with it. But if it is fa, it'll be hands on head. If it is la, then I'll change it around so that so is hands on head and la is hands in the air. But you can vary it as you see fit and as you expand the scale. The main thing is that they're doing something that represents lower down, middle, higher up, that kind of thing. And this, like I say, can be done just as easily in person. Feel free to use it in person too, but it's a great one to do in an online lesson because you don't have to be in the same room. You just have to be able to see what they're doing. Another great idea I think would work well through online lesson is, of course, echoes. So this is a very simple idea and I do it a lot and kids actually love doing this. So I normally start this by telling my student to pick a do. I pick one key on the piano, any key. And then I help them to arrange their hand so that it is do, re, mi, for example, if we're just starting with that. So this is right from the beginning, so they might not necessarily know pentascales or anything like that yet. they might not know anything, right? So I help them to find, and we use our ears to find which notes need to be black, which need to be white, and they can find the pattern. Then I put my hand in the same place and I play something, they play it back. And then they play something, I play it back. So it's just simple echoes. But the reason I suggest this for online lessons is you might not have 2 pianos in your studio. If you don't, this is a great opportunity because now you do have 2 pianos, hopefully, if they have a piano at home. So if you do now have 2 pianos available to you, why not use them in a way you normally can't? You can actually be in the same spot on the piano as them. I have a keyboard and a piano side by side, so of course if you have that in your studio, you can do this there too. You can also do it in different octaves, but I do like it with 2 pianos because they can't see my hand. It is genuine ear training and I don't have to tell them to look away. Just checking in with the comments here. Colleen just joined us and she said, VMT Pink, I teach online theory to an adult who moved to northern Canada. I teach my grandchildren online also, but it's much more difficult. Duets very difficult. You can't really do duets, can you, Colleen? Have you managed to make it work at all? I'd be surprised. I think backing tracks are the way to go with online lessons. It's a shame not to have the duet option, but unless you... Well, you could also teach a simple ostinato pattern to the parent. That would be a great option for a duet. If you can teach them just a 1-5 or something, that would be fun. Of course, if they play, teach them much more than that, but I'm assuming the parent has no musical experience. Get them to do something simple in the bass. That'd be fun. Fun way to bring duets into lessons when, you know, your son or daughter who's their parent doesn't have any musical training. They can still participate in a duet and the student can still do that. So those 2 ideas for ear training are to get you started. Another thing I thought would be really fun. Haven't tried this. I think it would be awesome though. And it's something you actually couldn't really do as much in person. And that's to actually improvise or do ear training with images on the screen. So as an example, if you had an image of a bird, like this beautiful guy right here, you could pop that up, and when you have the bird up, the student has to play high notes. When you have the whale up, they need to play low notes, or whatever 2 animals you want to use, or 2 images. That could be a great way to switch things up, and you can't do that in person. Yeah, you could show pictures, but it's really not the same as their single point of reference is you on a screen. So if you can picture that, and then you suddenly change into a bird, that's going to be so much fun. That's going to be such a good game for them. This could advance more into continuing lessons and doing improvising. So maybe they improvise like a horse, and then you ask them to improvise like an elephant. Or, and this is my favorite one, maybe you have a running theme where anytime they're going too fast, you stop talking and you just put that on the screen. Wouldn't that be funny? I think that'd be hilarious. If you have online students, I would love you to try this. And if you don't have the capability of like putting an image on the screen, I think you can do that in most software. But if you don't, just like put it up to your screen. That'll work too. But I think it'd be really fun if the tortoise just takes over your screen every time they play too fast. I think that would get the message across, don't you? Complete side note, I found sloth stickers recently and I've been sticking them on students' pieces that need to go slower. Super fun. I love sloths. And so do a lot of my students. I think they're a trending animal. Anyway, so that's ear training. What software do I use, Leah? For online lessons, I let the parent choose. So I would use Skype, Facetime, or provide them with a Zoom link because I have a Zoom account. Zoom is actually by far the most reliable. So if you're looking for something like to use quite regularly, I would invest in Zoom. Don't think it costs that much. And the software, they have to install software to use Zoom, but it literally takes like 10 seconds. If any of you have been on a Vibrant Music Teaching office hours call, I use Zoom for those. They're just so much more reliable. The internet drop-offs are so much less. The lags are less. Everything works better. And yes, they do have to install software, but it takes like a second. So it's pretty low friction. Now, that being said, I only do occasional online lessons with my students, and I want to make it as easy as possible for a parent to say yes, especially if it's something like a snow day and everything's already so hectic. So I say, listen, what you have installed on your phone or on your iPad already, let's use that. So for a lot of them it is FaceTime because they have iPhones, or Skype if they want that, about 50-50 for what they go for. But of course I'll provide a Zoom link if they say whatever you suggest. I'll go, well then Zoom, let's install that. So it depends on the student. Now, moving on from ear training, I hope those 3 suggestions will be useful to you in person and online. I especially like that image idea. I think that could be so fun to do. The next area I want to look at is rhythm. Rhythm. We need to do more work on rhythm all the time because it is the most important part of playing. You can debate that with me all you want, but it's the thing that ends up being lacking in students playing, and I think most teachers would say it's basically the most important thing when you are playing, is to keep the pulse, to keep the beat going, to keep the rhythm nice and strong. All that stuff is so important. So having some rhythm games is a great idea to work on that. Some of the ways I thought we might work on rhythm over Skype or FaceTime or whatever you're using. One activity I like to do is dictation or transcription, depending on which way you look at that. So I would clap a rhythm or play a rhythm on the piano and have my student transcribe it. Now, my favourite way to have them write it down is actually not to write it down. It's to use these guys. Have you seen these before? These are relative rhythm cards. So 3 crotchets or 3 quarter notes fit in a dotted minim or a dotted half note, etc. They're all relative, as the name suggests. There's a minim there, and then there's time signatures as well. So depending on the student's level, you could tell them that you're only going to play tas and titis, or quavers and crotchets, or quarter notes and eighth notes, and just have them figure out what the pattern was. And it'd be a good idea to get them to echo it back first, and that's certainly a activity you could do with rhythm over Skype as well. So having the student clap back a rhythm to you, again, if it's happening after the fact, it's okay if there's a delay. They don't have to be at the same time. So just don't do anything where they have to happen together. So, you clap, and then they clap it back to you, and then they create it and show you what pattern they've created. So if you send these cards, and by the way, VMT members, you're welcome to send PDFs to parents. If you're doing like online lessons or whatever, send stuff through. I don't mind you sending PDFs to students of yours. That's completely fine and completely within the VMT copyright restrictions. So send them through, get them to print them out, and then they have them to piece them together. Or you could use a little blackboard or whiteboard that they have on hand, piece of paper, or an on-screen thing where they write if you can figure out a way to do that. But I think having something tactile is really important, and those relative rhythm cards really do make a difference in how well students understand the relationship between different notes. I'm just going to check in with the comments here because I've had a couple more coming through. Leah said thanks for the suggestions. Thank you, Leah, for asking such a great question. Stephania said, I'll just show you this example actually, because I should, for those of you who have just joined, I'll tell you the question now. So Stephania's answer to the question, VMT yellow. I don't have any experience teaching online lessons, but for sure it's something I would like to introduce in the future. So great answer there. I'll show you what the question is if you're just joining us. The question of the day is, what is your experience with online lessons? And you're going to answer in this format: VMT, colour, and then the answer to the question. And if you answer that in the comments, you'll be in with a shot of winning a prize on tomorrow's broadcast. And if you entered yesterday, I'm announcing the winner from today at the end of today's broadcast. But I have a few more online lesson game options to give you before we do that. So I talked about the dictation transcription idea using the relative rhythm cards or a blackboard, and also the echoes. Both of those can be used interchangeably and together. And another thing that I thought would be really, really fun is if you come up with a password this is a riff on yesterday. Yesterday we talked about music history and gamifying music history in your teaching. And we talked about using passwords into your room. Well, how great would it be if you have a password into the Skype session? Has to be something easy, but this would be a great way to use rhythm, because if you had it that, again, you show a picture, I don't have an example, but picture that you have on the screen, you could hold it up or you could take it over your screen if you have the software to screen share, and have just a simple pattern like, again, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. They need to clap it to start the session with you and then you take it away. How fun would that be? Like a little password every week they have to work on rhythm. And in the beginning it could just be 4 crotchets. Or it could just be that they have to count 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever. Having that and developing it each week. If you're doing regular Skype lessons, I'm kind of jealous of you because you could try this. This would be so fun. How awesome would that be? I think it might be confusing if you do snow day lessons. I might try it anyway. That's kind of how I roll, but I'd have to explain to the parents what's happening because it wouldn't be a regular thing. But if you did it every week, it could be so cool, so fun. The other area I want to talk to you about today, no, we don't need the turtle now, sorry, tortoise, excuse me, that was a mistake. The last thing you might like to do is actual board games. So I don't think these are off the table. I don't think they are. If you send something through to the parent in advance of the lesson, and as I say, with VMT games, you're welcome to do that. Can't speak for other games creators, but with mine, send them the PDF. I don't mind as long as they're your student, and get them to print it for you. And there's a few ways you could use the board games. Now, I'm suggesting board games, not card games. I think card games would be much harder. Board games you could do. So say you have like this one. This is Take a Rest. One of these days I'm going to master putting it in the center of the camera. This is Take a Rest. And this was mentioned the other day, which is why I pulled it out for this. You could use any board game. And have them place 2 tokens, one for you, one for them. And they just draw both cards, and yours moves forward and theirs moves forward. They do all the moving and all the card drawing. You don't need to have a copy of anything, by the way. You could also have something, but I think it'd be way better if you just leave it with them, and they point the camera at that, and you instruct them what to do. Another great way to use the board games would be to have the parent there, and you just act as the umpire. Just act as the person who directs them, and then they can continue the game when you get off the call. So spend the last couple of minutes explaining how it works, walking them through the first couple of goes. They can finish it when you get off. Amazing. So a few more board games you might like to use. You could use beginner ones like this as Star Seekers. You could use this for way more advanced ones if you explained it to the parent enough, gave them one of the VMT cheat sheets. This is Run, Race, Repeat. A super wacky one where you have to repeat in all sorts of crazy different ways and it almost never ends, but it could end almost instantly. Great fun. And this is Articulation Ivy. So again, at a more intermediate stage. Any of those would work really well without you being there, whether you're one of the tokens and the student is moving it, or you just have the parent do it. Let me know what you think of that, whether you see any pitfalls there. I don't. I think that could work great. All you need is the camera pointed at it. So that's the only tricky bit. Just checking in there. I had another couple of answers to the question of the day. Christina. I offer online lessons as an option if something keeps them from coming to my studio. Same as me, Christina. I've only tried with an adult student so far. Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, should have said this. On the YouTube channel, in one of the quick clips videos, you can see a segment of my lesson with one of my students, Eva. So if you hop over there or to the Colourful Keys blog, you'll find it both places. You can actually see what it looks like. So if you're someone that's like, wants to give this a go, but you just can't picture it and you're really nervous of trying things before you've seen how it works, I totally get that. You can see me and my student Eva and how incredibly normal and almost to the point of being boring it looks. Like we're just working on scales and pieces and it looks almost just like we're side by side, except she's inside a screen and I'm inside a screen to her. So if you need to see that, and you can see a longer segment if you're a VMT member in the teaching video section. And if you're not a VMT member, first of all, why not? Second of all, you can see one for free anyway it's a shorter version of that in the Quick Clip series. So if you are curious about online lessons and you haven't tried it or you're nervous of it, hop on over and give it a go. And if you haven't signed up, by the way, to this series, you can do that at vibrantmusicteaching.com/birthday. That'll get you the email notification so you can join me live as soon as we go live, because you'll get a notification just a couple of minutes before so that you're ready to go and you don't have to rely on Facebook telling you about it. We have 2 more days after today to go, so there's still plenty of opportunity to win some prizes. Speaking of prizes, I think that Mr. Allen is ready. Yeah, I think he is. Can you tell I teach mostly very young kids with my ridiculousness? It's just an excuse. I'm actually just like that anyway. So this is Alan, the coconut, and Alan is going to tell us the winner for today's contest. And everyone who's entering any of these contests is automatically entered to win the annual prize, the annual VMT membership prize, which will be on Tuesday. I'll be doing the final drawing for that. So, okay, let's get today's winner. Are we ready? Ready to open some presents? Okay, Alan has spoken. The winner for today from yesterday's broadcast is Jill Areve Cole. So Jill Cole, I think that's a middle name. VMT Pink. So we're opening the pink box today. Exciting. I haven't added much into my regular lessons, but I did 4 weeks of summer camps when we studied different composer each week of camp. Oh, I love this answer too. That's awesome. I'm not cherry picking, but I do love that answer because she did a different composer each week of her camp, and that was how she covered music history last year. So awesome answer from Jill. Jill, if you're live, let us know. If you're not, I'll be in touch with you very shortly, but we're going to open up your present without you, even if you're not here. Anyone want to guess what it is? This is the big one that kind of is camouflaged into the background, the pink one. Any guesses? Any guesses? Yesterday some people guessed CDs and books and things, and it was actually the greeting cards, the birthday cards. So, this one is heavy. Can I pick it up without getting it? Yes, I can! Okay, are we ready? Anyone know what it is? Keep your guesses in quick, 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 quick. Stella thinks book. Okay. Wrap this one too well. As I said, it's pretty heavy. That should give you a clue. What's heavy? Books, right? Okay. But we have to keep unwrapping, because this is a mysterious box. Actually, this is the biggest prize apart from, it's biggest in size and it is actually biggest in value, apart from the VMT membership. What is inside this box is an entire set of my Thinking Theory workbooks. This is one of the few things that's not available inside the VMT library. I sell them separately as books, and I'm not even going to be able to hold all these up together, but this is the beautiful rainbow that Jill will be receiving. All these different levels, including the answer booklets, which are for teachers to be able to answer the books really, really quickly while multitasking is basically the idea of the answer books. I know you could answer them yourself, I'm sure, but sometimes we're distracted when we're correcting work, right? So answer booklets just make that really quick. So massive prize for Jill. That will be on its way to you, Jill, once I get in touch with you and confirm your address. And I'm super excited to hear what you think of those books. If you haven't gone in on the drawing for tomorrow, this is the last reminder I'll give you. You need to answer this question and you need to do it in this format. VMT, colour that you want to win, There's only 2 colours left. Yellow and orange, so 50-50. And then your answer. And if you chose pink today already and you already wrote your comment, don't worry, I'll pick for you tomorrow, okay? It doesn't mean you don't win. So, to be in with a shout of winning one of those 2 prizes and the annual VMT membership in a couple of days, you're going to answer this question. What is your experience with online lessons? How are you getting on with them if you're doing them? Or have you not done them at all? And how are you interested in trying them? So VMT, the colour of the prize, yellow or orange, and your answer to the question. And that will enter you into the drawing to win the prize tomorrow and the annual VMT membership. Amazing. And by the way, if you're a member, don't worry, you still can enter. It means you get your next year for free. And if you're a non-member, it means you get your first year for free. So it's open to everyone, and I'm super excited to give that away on VMT's actual birthday, which is the 18th on Tuesday. And 2 more workshops to go, guys. Already day 5 over. I can't believe how quickly this has flown. I hope you enjoyed today's tips about using games in online lessons and it helped you think differently about some things, whether you are teaching online or just in-person ideas that you hadn't thought of doing before. I will catch you on the next workshop tomorrow, and I hope you have a fantastic Sunday. Bye, guys.